when investigations don't go your way. We have discussed at length Ethnos360 New Tribes Mission's investigations into abuse and subsequent reports summaries. You can review a side-by-side comparison of the first report released by Grace and the final report released by Ethnos360's iHeart process coordinated by Teresa Sidebotham in another video. Grace. The Grace investigation was substantial. It gave in-depth descriptions of what happened, the environment that enabled it, all of the times abuse was disclosed, etc. It named names of missionaries who abused children and leaders who failed to respond appropriately. It gave specific recommendations for how the organization should respond, including specific consequences for both those who abused and the leaders who enabled it. After Grace issued its report for Senegal, Ethnos360, then New Tribes Mission, did not retain them again. iHeart, Pat Hendricks. Subsequently, New Tribes Mission Ethnos360 retained Pat Hendricks to coordinate the investigations. Pat Hendricks worked under a process called iHeart. Missionary Kids, recommendations panels, and many others were led to believe that iHeart was completely independent of Ethnos360. Even in the last couple of years, MKs have reported being told it's independent. iHeart is trademarked by Ethnos360 and owned and operated under its supervision. Pat Hendricks was coordinating during the process of at least 3 investigations: Brazil, Bolivia, and Panama. When the first report under her supervision was released, the Viannopolis report, it was significantly less detailed. It did, however, name those found to have abused children. Before the reports for Bolivia or Panama could be released, Pat Hendricks was fired. iHeart, Teresa Sidebotham. Teresa Sidebotham was retained to coordinate the remainder of the investigations. Although subsequent reports were lengthy, they were filled with history, context, explanations, and excuses. Eventually, they became visually appealing, colorful, and padded with numerous pictures. The findings were vague, and those found to have abused children were not named. These seemed to be the type of reports Ethnos360 wanted all along, as Teresa Sidebotham was the only investigator coordinator allowed to produce more than one country or school report summary. In conclusion, it seems very clear with hindsight that Ethnos360 leadership doesn't desire truth and transparency. As Larry Brown said to ABWE leadership, they thought they could control the information with Grace, and when they couldn't, they moved on to Pat Hendricks. After one report was released by Pat Hendricks, a single summary naming abusers, she was let go as well. Ever since then, Ethnos360 has not named abusers, and there's no evidence they hold leadership accountable for failing to respond or covering up abuse. As an MK recommendations panelist described,
we found a lot of leadership in the country culpable. We also found a lot of leadership in the Florida headquarters culpable, which is one of the things that had shocked them when Boz had done his report, that he found leadership in Florida headquarters culpable for abuse that happened.
They ensured that it never happened again by controlling the investigations and firing anyone who didn't produce exactly what they desired. Even PII, a group of investigators that New Tribes Mission hired and subsequently fired before the 1,075-page report and findings of their extensive investigation could be released, asked, "Are these actions being taken because the hiring entity did not accept the findings of the original completed investigation? This isn't independent. This isn't transparent. This isn't a desire for truth or child safety. As long as the same leaders who oversaw this process continue to be in charge of the organization, they cannot be trusted with children.